Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lalita Tanvitam Tantajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanaha Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Srite Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you everyone for coming early in the morning today. Um, Beginning with, I would like to ask for forgiveness from everyone if I say anything offenseful or anything that's not correct. Please correct me when I say something incorrect. And I would also like to thank Hari Prabhu for encouraging me to be here today. So I will be focusing today on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 7. Mattaha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani ganaiva matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani gunaiva mattah parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani ganaiva. Translation is, O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Would someone like to read the purport?
there is a common controversy over whether the supreme absolute truth is personal or impersonal. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and this is confirmed in every step. In this verse in particular, it is stressed that the absolute truth is a person, that this personality of Godhead is the supreme absolute truth. It's also the affirmation of the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. That is, the supreme absolute personality, the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna, who is the primeval Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure, Govinda, and the eternal form of complete bliss and knowledge. These authorities leave no doubt that the absolute truth is the supreme person, the cause of all causes. The impersonalist, however, argues on the strength of the Vedic version given in the Svetashvatara Upanishad. Tato yat uttarattaram tad arupam anamayam ya etad vidur amritas te bhavanti ate tare dukkam eva piyanti. In the material world, Brahma, the primeval living entity within the universe, is understood to be the supreme amongst the demigods, human beings, and lower animals. But beyond Brahma, there is the transcendence, who has no material form and is free from all material contaminations. Anyone who can know him can also become transcendental. But those who do not know him suffer the miseries of the material world. The impersonalist puts more stress on the word arupam. But this arupam is not personal. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, as described in the Brahma Samhita quoted above. Other verses in the Svetashvatara Upanishad substantiate this as follows. Vedaham meta purusham mahantam aditya varnam tamasa paratsastat tam eva vidittvati mrityumeti nanya panta vidyate yanaya yasmat param na param asti kinchit yasmana niyo no jyayosti kinchit vriksha eva stabdo divistati ekas tenegam purnam purusheshena sarvam. I know that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all material conceptions of darkness, only He knows Him can transcend the bonds of birth and death. There is no way for liberation other than His knowledge of that Supreme Person, of this knowledge of that Supreme Person. There's no truth superior to that person, because He is the supermost. He is smaller than the smallest, and He is greater than the greatest. He is situated as a silent tree, and He illumines the transcendental sky. And as a tree spreads its roots, He spreads His extensive energies. From these verses, one concludes that the supreme absolute truth is the supreme personality of Godhead, who is all-pervading by His multi-energies, both material and spiritual.
So today I would like to focus on the specific part of the translation which says, "Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread." Now, when we think of a pearl necklace, we see the different pearls and the string which it is physically relying on. And this can be taken in the most literal sense, converted onto ourselves. We are physically reliant on Krishna in the simplest way. He's a spark within us. He's the Paramatma, right? He's the one that strings us together and holds us together. So here in this in purport, Prabhupada specifically stresses the fact that Krishna is a person. The Supreme Godhead, personality of Godhead, is not an idea or a form or just this ball of energy. He's a physical person. Like even made differently than us, but He's still a physical person, and we are reliant on that person. And in this material world, people ask for so many things, but Krishna only asks for one thing. He just wants our love. And so today I would like to focus on two things. One mainly being having faith in Krishna and how that ties into having love for Krishna. So during these days, and it's very difficult to make decisions. You know, if I ask someone, what are you going to have for lunch tomorrow? And it's like 15, 20 minutes of, I don't know. Should I have this? Should I have that? or deciding what to wear the next morning for class. What do I wear? You know, just wasting hours or minutes, you know, just deciding. You don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. And so my question is, who is better suited to make decisions about our future? Is it us, where we can't decide what we want for dinner? Or the Paramatma, or Krishna, who knows what we want even before we want it ourselves? So I would like to share two stories. The first one being the Brahmana and the shoe cobbler. So as we all know, Narada Muni likes to travel throughout the world. And on this particular day, he was going through and he came across one Brahmana. Very well educated, he was very well read on the scriptures. And he looks at Narada Muni and goes, "Oh Narada, you're going up to see the Lord. When you see him, can you ask him when I'll be coming back to him?" And Narada Muni says, "Okay, I will ask him." And he continues on his journey, and then he comes across a shoe cobbler. He's sitting in front of a banyan tree, just stitching shoes. And he asks the same thing of Narada Muni. He says, "Oh Narada Muni, please ask the Lord when you see him, when I'll be returning to him." And Narada Muni says, "Okay." And he goes up to the Vaikuntha planets and sees Lord Vishnu. And he asks him, "You know, I met this Brahmana and the shoe cobbler, and they want to know when they'll come back to you." And Lord Vishnu thinks about it, and he says, "When you see the shoe cobbler, tell him he'll come back to me in this very life. When you see the Brahmana, tell him it'll take him multiple more births to come back." Now Narada Muni was shocked. What? The Brahmana, he's so well read, he knows his scriptures, he does so many rituals every day. Why is it that the Brahmana has to take more births to come back? And Lord Vishnu tells him, "When you go and see them and they'll ask you what I'm doing, tell them I'm fitting an elephant through the eye of a needle." Now let's put this in perspective. A needle is this big, an elephant is huge. I asked one of my friends and I was like, "Do you think it's possible to fit an elephant through an eye of a needle?" And she said, "Scientifically, if we shrink the elephant, we can fit it through the eye of a needle." Now that's not possible. But in the literal sense, Lord Vishnu wanted Narada Muni to ask the two devotees that he was fitting an elephant through the eye of a needle. So Narada Muni goes and he comes across the Brahmana. And the Brahmana asks, "Oh Narada, what did the Lord say?" And Narada Muni tells him, "You know, it's going to take you multiple births." He says, "What? What is this? Why? I'm so well educated, you know." And he asks, "What is the Lord doing?" And Narada Muni tells him, "He's fitting an elephant through the eye of a needle." And the Brahmana gives one look and says, "Do you think I'm a fool? Do you really think anyone can fit an elephant through the eye of a needle? That's nonsense. I don't believe it." And Narada Muni is beginning to understand what Lord Vishnu meant. And he continues on and he comes across a shoe cobbler who then asks Narada Muni, "How is the Lord today? What is he doing?" And Narada Muni explains, "The Lord is fitting an elephant to the eye of a needle." And the shoe cobbler cried tears of ecstasy, and he said, "The Lord can do anything. He's so merciful." And Narada Muni was a little shocked. He said, "Do you really believe that? You know, do you really believe the Lord is fitting an elephant through the eye of a needle?" And the shoe cobbler says, "Why shouldn't I believe it? This banyan tree I'm sitting behind used to be in a small seed. The Lord can fit this big tree in this tiny seed. What's to say he can't fit an elephant through the eye of a needle?" And so what we can understand from this story is that it's not just being well educated or well read. It's to have that faith that everything I'm reading in the scriptures, that is actually, Krishna is able to do it. He can do it. It's not just, "Oh, this is just once in 5,000 years. You know, it was 5,000 years ago it happened." No, it will happen. It's happening right at this moment. Krishna can do it. And one verse that I would like to just reference is Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, text 10. "Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetunanena kaunteya jagad viparivartate." In which Krishna says, "This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again." And in this verse, the first word, Maya, which means by me, Krishna, and Adhyakshena, which is by superintendence. Now this means that Krishna is Prabhupada says that Krishna is the supreme director of everything in this world. Now let's take this big concept into a smaller perspective. Within our bodies itself, we have millions, billions of cells, just all performing our daily activities since the day we were born. Every day they carry out our digestion, our breathing, everything. Now what if Krishna decided one day, he said, I don't want to do this, it's up to you. You control your body functions, everything. And one day you're sleeping and you forget to tell yourself to breathe. That's it, you're gone, you're finished. So like this, in many ways, Krishna has taken the hard part away from us. He's taken many of the difficult things away from us. So many stresses we don't have to worry about. We take it for granted because we don't have to worry about it. But just think, every single thing in our body works because Krishna's running it automatically for us. And for all this, all he asks is just for some love and some faith in him. Now I'd like to tell one more story. And this is of Krishna and Sudama in Dwarka. So Sudama and Krishna were childhood friends. And as they grew up, Krishna went on to live in Dwarka as the king of Dwarka. And Sudama, he lived a different life. He was very poor. His family was very hungry. But he was still a very, very, very astounded devotee. He would always chant the names of Krishna. And he always had that faith. He always believed in Krishna. And one day his wife says, please, can you go ask Krishna for some help? We need some help. And she packs a little thing of chipped rice. Says, take this to Krishna and see if he can help us. And even though Sudama didn't really want to ask Krishna for help, he goes because it's for his family. He goes and he's walking, and there's all these thorns and bushes and shrubs on the ground, and they pierce his feet, and his feet are bleeding and bruised. But he still has a smile on his face, and he's chanting the glories of Krishna, and he continues on his journey. And as he's continuing, Krishna in his courtyard is walking, and he feels a thorn pierce his foot, and he's feeling the pain of Sudama as he's walking through the forest. But as he continues walking, he comes at the gates of Krishna's palace, and the guard refuses to let him in. And he says, I'm Sudama, I'm Krishna's friend. Tell Krishna I'm here to see him. And hearing this, Krishna runs out, and embracing Sudama, he says, have you forgotten me, my old friend? Have you forgotten me? I've been waiting for you to come. I've been waiting, and you're finally here to see me. And embracing, he leads Sudama into his palace. And there, he goes to wash Sudama's feet, and he sees all the blood and the bruises and the pierced thorns, and crying tears. Krishna washes Sudama's feet with his tears. And then he goes and he lays out an entire feast for Sudama. But Sudama, in his humility and his sadness, he couldn't eat because his family is hungry and he didn't want to eat. But Krishna, with his own hands, lovingly fed Sudama. And in that manner, they exchanged a nice feast. And later, when they're alone, Krishna asks Sudama, he says, Sudama, I know you brought me something. I know your wife wouldn't have let you come here without anything. And to Sudama, he felt very embarrassed because to him, he felt as if the little pack of chipped rice was nothing compared to the magnificence of Krishna's, And he said, oh, it's nothing. There's nothing. I didn't bring anything. And Krishna says, I know you brought something. What did you bring me? And so, embarrassingly, Sudama pulls out the little bag of chipped rice. And right as Krishna's about to take it, the servants come in, and they start. So then Sudama hides the chipped rice. He said, no, it's nothing. And that night, when Sudama is taking rest, Krishna comes in, and he takes the chipped rice, and he eats it. And in that moment, without Sudama's knowledge, his house, everything became palaces of gold with treasures and lots of food and everything. And unknowingly, Sudama woke up the next morning, and he still didn't ask Krishna for anything. He didn't feel like asking Krishna for anything. So he said his goodbyes, and he went on his way, only to find that everything had been replaced with jewelries and gold and treasure chests. And in this way, we can understand from the story that Sudama had nothing to give to Krishna. The only thing he had was his love and his faith. And in that way, Krishna took care of him. He fed him. He gave him everything he needed. He took care of his family. And so, one thing that we can understand from this story is that Krishna never forgets us. We've been through millions of billions of births, and we're here now. And when we see the deities, we don't have to start an introduction, you know? We don't be like, my name is Ashna. And, you know, he knows us. He knows everything about us. And for someone who knows everything about us, isn't it easy to figure out what we want in the future? You know, he can give it to you, just like this. And as Prabhupada says here, Krishna is the supreme director of everything. He knows everything. He cares about us infinitely, and he has our best interest at heart, more so that he wants to take us back to him. He wants to. All he needs is just a little bit of love to show that you want to come back with him. Why? He won't take us by force. We left him willingly, and we have to come back to him willingly. And so, for someone who's the Lord of the universe, small problems are nothing. He can solve anything in a little blink of an eye, you know? And so why worry about what our future is when right in this moment we can just give our love, just in this moment, our love and our faith to Krishna, and he'll take care of everything in the future. Because after all, he is the Paramatma in our soul, and he cannot understand what we want from everything. And so one more point I would like to make is that when we read these scriptures, you know, we understand that we must have love for Krishna to go back. But what does it mean to love someone? To love someone is to put your trust and your faith in them. How can we say we love someone and we're ready to go with them when we don't believe in their abilities, believe that, yes, they'll take care of me? Krishna promises, you surrender unto me and I'll take care of you. So that's all we have to do. That surrendering is faith. We must have that faith that I am your servant, Krishna, and that's all, and I have my love for you, and you will take care of me. Surrender wholeheartedly, and Krishna promises he'll take care of you. There's nothing else to worry about. So I think I spoke rather fast, but that is what I have for today. There's any questions or comments or corrections, please let me know.
Thank you very much for the nice lecture. When you were saying the pastime of Sudama and Krishna, the pastime of Vidura and Duryodhan made this big feast, you know, had all the funny subjects in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But then Vidura, when Krishna came to Vidura and, I don't know Vidura's wife's name, but Vidura's wife,
Mm-hmm.
when she would just give him the banana peel, and then he was accepting the banana peel because she had love for Krishna, but Duryodhan had a malicious intent, and there was not even in Vidura's wife's offering, there was not even one tulsi leaf, but Krishna accepted it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of shows how bhakti supersedes everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. One question I had for you is that yes, surrender is what Krishna wants from us, but practically in this world, we are if we go outside, if we say that surrender to Krishna, we're being trained outside how to be better materialists, how to, in one sense, the material world is trying to make you God.
Yeah.
It's trying to give you that false thing that, hey, you work hard, you get money, and once you get money, you get a wife, and then once you get a wife, you get kids, and then enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But most of our lives are not. If we go outside, most of our lives outside is not conducive for the process of surrender.
Mm.
So how do we go outside and in this atheistic society, and how do we still be on the path to surrender?
So I think one of the ways that we can keep in mind that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just keeping it in our mind, is that he's the owner of everything. So everything we see, we touch, we hear, it belongs to Krishna. When we're outside, seeing trees or seeing, everyone walk by, they're part and parcels of Krishna. So even though when we're outside, it's so hard. We're like, how you're saying, we're trained in that mentality that we are the owners of everything. But I think if we try to go out and see everything with a mindset that, Prabhupada said, Krishna is the owner of everything. So if we try to go with that strict mindset every time we go out, this is Krishna's, I'm seeing what is Krishna's, then it can help put us in perspective. And I think just having that little change in perspective can help us maintain that faith to maintain solid in our surrender to Krishna. Um, yeah, that's what I would say. Thank you.
Very nice. So only question now, and I didn't have a question, but the comment is next Friday is another very important festival, right? We can do festival. So Appearance Day. So what is the role of a spiritual master in all of this? So what have you gathered? What are your thoughts on that? What is the role of a spiritual between me and Krishna? Can I approach Krishna directly? Is that okay to approach Krishna directly, or should I go through a spiritual master? So I have my thoughts on that, but I'd really like to hear from you also.
That is very.
It's not the test or anything like that. So that's where because yesterday I was hearing some courses and all these things. Very interesting points. He's like spiritual master is the Vayam. So we cannot approach Krishna directly. So first thing, even when you come inside, we should pay obeisance to the spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada. Then only we can approach Krishna. Because even I go to that extreme, we don't know who is Krishna. We know only who is Prabhupada. Just because Prabhupada said that there is Krishna and he looks like this, that's how I know Krishna. It's up to that extent that it's the Guru's mercy, the spiritual master's mercy, that today we know anything about Krishna, and we should, so the spiritual master plays a very, very, what you call the most important role in this process, that we should be going to the spiritual master. And it's also somebody was saying in a more distinct tone is, when you approach Krishna directly, he's bubbling with anger. What is this anger? This fellow, so many births he has taken, he doesn't bother to come in front of me. He keeps roaming around here and there, he buys this, he buys that, exactly what he was telling you, right? Material world, always going, he doesn't even bother to come in front of me. How this fellow has got this thing to stand in front of me, right? And then, other side, the Lord is also guilty. The Lord is also guilty. You know why? Because the Lord, he says, I know all this. I'm the guy who created this Jivatma and this person. I should have given him intelligence to come to me. I also didn't do my part. So, who is in the middle to sort out this problem? It is the spiritual master. So, unless we take the shelter of the spiritual master, so we have to catch hold of Prabhupada's dhoti and lotus feet, and then he will take us to Krishna. Then everything will be fine. Then as long as we are behind Prabhupada, we are fine. But if we try to go individually and all those things, then it will happen probably, we don't know how many millions of us we have to take it again. What is it, Prabhupada? Just
No, what is it?
Yeah.
So even if you approach the Lord directly also,
Mm.
so if the intention is sincere, and the heart is has a desire to approach Him, the Lord within the person creates a desire to approach a person, spiritual master, who can see the path actually. He inspires them. But the true intention should be there for the person. So any person can approach the Lord directly.
Right.
And over a period of time, he once goes through that process and his desire is solidified, he sends to a bona fide spiritual master and says, approach this person, he can show the path to the
Yeah.
And Srila Prabhupada says, if you want to get cheated, then Krishna will cheat you. He'll send you a cheating spiritual master.
Yeah.
But if you have a sincere desire to approach Krishna, then if you have a sincere desire to approach Krishna, then you always want to remember Krishna. And when you come to the temple, but there's always going to be somebody at the temple. So there's association comes, and with association you find a bona fide spiritual master. So if you're inquisitive about Krishna, and if you have just the association, put yourself in the association with devotees, then automatically that desire comes to serve Krishna through a spiritual master. Other than that, there's no other way to reach Krishna.
Yeah, those are all, it's very true, because the spiritual master is our link. Srila Prabhupada himself, he's a link to Krishna. He gave us all this knowledge, and by having faith and following in the footsteps of the spiritual master, we can then develop faith for Krishna, because he gives us all the knowledge that we need. So that's a very, very good point.
So on that point, now I'm going back to Sudama's story. Sudama didn't go to Dwarika to please Krishna. He went for his own, like he had some needs, so he went to ask that to Krishna. So how that fits in
So
that point?
here in this, what happens is that, yes, Sudama had gone with the intention of asking Krishna, but out of his humility and his devotion, he didn't want to ask Krishna. He still just maintained his complete consciousness and absorption in Krishna. He didn't like, how do I say this? He didn't just go and think, I'm going to ask Krishna today, I deserve this, I've been working hard, I deserve my money, I deserve my food. No, he went with the attitude of, I'm Krishna's servant, and that's why he went, but he didn't ask. He went, and he couldn't bring himself to ask Krishna to help him. He was quiet, and he just maintained in his absorption in Krishna, and he left. And through that, he just maintained his love for Krishna. He didn't directly ask Krishna saying, I want this, Krishna, can you please help me? He had the desire, but he still just maintained that love and faith for Krishna, and Krishna took care of it. And I think just the point in this pastime that Krishna is making is that one of the transcripts that I read where Prabhupada was talking in this pastime, he says that this is called, it's not blind believing. But Sudama didn't just blindly, he had the love that gave him the faith that Krishna would take care of him. And Krishna did take care of him. So like that.
Yeah, once I was listening to Lalbhavan Prabhu lecture also. There he mentioned, it's an important fact, when Sudama came back also, he never stayed in that place where Krishna built, like the hill palaces. He used to stay outside the palace. So from there Sudama's intent. His intent was never to go and get everything from Krishna and all this. Because some people in this world also interpret this wrongly. Just because he gave some grain, he got so much business. That's how we should pray to Krishna. That's not the moral of the story here. The moral of the story here is something else. So that's one thing, right? So Sudama never had that intent for to get riches and all those things. Because even after he came back, he never stayed in that palace. He stayed outside the palace, in a small kutia. Well, I'll go and makes that point.
Yeah, I think I have heard that lecture as well, and he also mentions that even if we think that Sudama, he was a good friend when they were a child, and they went different roads, and then Krishna became the king, and then he became a Sura Brahmana. But Lalbhavan Prabhu mentioned that throughout his life he offered prasad to Krishna every day. He had Krishna's everything,
Yeah, even though they went on different paths, he still maintained that devotion and that love for Krishna. That was always there. That never left Sudama, no matter why, no matter the reason why he went to see Krishna. But in the end, he went to just see Krishna, and he still maintained that love and devotion. He never went to demand Krishna for. He never felt that I deserve. He didn't have that mentality. He just went as a servant of Krishna. So like that. So thank you everyone for coming. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.